Hello, everybody. MikesMMAPicks here with our fourth episode of an MMA betting seminar. First three episodes, we touched on targeting fighters who will fight hard for your money. Second episode, developing a winning process. We talked about implied probability. We also talk about how having a flawed process could lead to poor results. Third episode, getting in at the right price, when to pull the trigger on an MMA bet. And today, episode number 4, we're going to be talking a little bit about sharpening your skills as an MMA handicapper. Now, what do I mean by sharpening your skills? We are going to touch on a number of points here, but first off, most important thing that you're going to need is experience. You're going to need to know what works, what doesn't work. You're going to need to understand unit sizes. Bankroll management is going to be very, very important at this stage in the game. And there are a number of things to consider. We've got an interruption by Big Pretty. Please hold. I apologize for the interruption. This is the noisemaker right here. So, let's talk a little bit about experience and how important it is in the grand scheme of things as an MMA handicapper. You want to invest your bankroll into situations where there's a high likelihood of success. You want to make sure that you're ascertaining value, that you're utilizing implied probability and a well-developed winning process. Okay. You're also going to make sure that you're tracking your bets. That's a huge component here to success, is that you analyze your bets, you find out where your strengths are, and also, more importantly, also where your weaknesses are, because you want to avoid situations where you're more likely to lose. Over time, I have over 1,000 tracked bets out there that I've been able to analyze where my strengths and weaknesses are as well. So, for instance, the lighter weight classes, for some reason, seem to be a niche area for me where I found a tremendous amount of success. And that is going to be an important aspect for yourselves out there as you're navigating the MMA betting world. You need to know where you're making mistakes and also how to learn from those mistakes, because that's a huge aspect of it. You don't want to back the truck up and then make a mistake and cause yourself some big problems. You also want to start out small when you're tracking your bets so that you understand what you're learning, because gradually over time, this evidence is going to pile up and you can see how you're performing. Okay, so you're going to be able to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. I recommend betmma.tips. That's one of the websites where you can third-party track your bets. Also, an Excel spreadsheet's one thing, but that isn't a great identifier. You need a third-party system to track your bets. Also, another area that I wanted to touch on as far as sharpening your skills, this is a route that I got into DFS MMA, where you're forced to analyze every single matchup on the card. There are typically anywhere between 10 and 14 fights on an MMA card, and every single fighter on that card, you're going to need to analyze their strengths, their weaknesses, and also understand the scoring system when you're playing DFS MMA. But as you're doing that, event after event, card after card, week after week, month after month, year after year, you start to get the hang of understanding how folks win, how folks lose. This isn't a perfect process, but experience is king, as I previously mentioned. So take the time to spend analyzing fighters, analyzing matchups. And there are many, many different variables that we look at in each specific matchup. We'll talk on that at a later MMA Betting Seminar episode. But this is just one way to sharpen your skills, is to spend time analyzing every matchup on the card, because it's relevant if you're playing DFS MMA. Okay, that's an important aspect of it, diversifying your game. And another thing is, be prepared to continue to evolve. If you have had success and you have a well-developed, established winning process, that's great. But also the fight game changes too. You see that through the years, the rules have changed somewhat. You've also seen how judges tend to score their cards, what judges are looking for. Fighter optics is something to be aware of. When you're analyzing fighters, do they have body language that speaks at the end of rounds? These are little things that could win you the round, and also potentially win you a bet if you are including that into your process. So there are a lot of things to consider here, but you want to make sure that you're continuing to evolve and you don't have a stale process. You may have some success for a few months, and then you go on a losing streak for a while, and you need to tease that out. Look at what's happening in front of you. Okay, so today we talked a little bit about sharpening your skills, developing a winning process, finding a strategy that works for you. Some folks out there are dog hunters. They take some risk with their plays. I've had success personally. I'm living proof that playing chalk every once in a while is okay, as long as you know what you're doing. So a measured, level-headed approach. Take your time and enjoy the process too. That's the other piece of the puzzle here, is you want to be able to, if this is a passion of yours, making sure that you're enjoying yourself and also that it's profitable, because that's a key too. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Remember, a lot of folks out there are putting out content, but you want to make sure that you're tracking and you're tailing somebody, or you're taking the advice from someone who is a third-party tracked winner, a legitimate winner. There are folks out there who are legitimate long-term losers who are actually putting out products behind a paywall, which is a challenge in this day and age. It's kind of like the Wild West. You have to make sure that that you do your homework and you understand where you're getting your advice from. So make sure it's from a trusted source, somebody who has done their homework. And on that note, if you wouldn't mind remembering to like and subscribe the video, liking and subscribing to the channel here, that'll be a big help to us as we move forward and as we put out more content through the months and the years to come. Thank you, and go get what's yours, my friends. Let's do it.